Hey, what's up, you guys? Thank you for joining me in part three in discussing the rulerships of the signs and discussing the planets. Continuing on with Mercury, I just want to add before I get into the detriment in the fall is that Mercury in Gemini and Mercury in Virgo are really fixated on the details. Like they really want to know the details of a subject. Now, with that being said, because Mercury rules Gemini, it's in detriment in Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is all about the big picture and like high ideals, and it also represents, higher education, whereas Gemini represents the early education and things like that. So Mercury and Sagittarius can kind of make somebody like kind of preachy, like act like a know-it-all. Like they're not going to be that inquisitive person because they're going to believe that they like know everything. So it might be kind of difficult to deal with a Mercury and Sagittarius person because you're not going to be able to, it's difficult to teach them something. Mercury is like particularly Mercury and Virgo-ish, but Mercury energy can be very teacher-esque, but Mercury in Sag is very, they can kind of have like a God complex, like pompous, like think that they're an era where they think that they're better, their knowledge is better. I have 4 PhDs, I have 3 masters, and you know what I'm saying? Like very, smart, but kind of full of themselves in terms of their knowledge because they believe that they know everything already, that they don't need to ask questions, that they don't need to know the details. All a Mercury and Sagittarius needs to know is the big picture, and they can move right along, which makes it kind of a shaky spot for Mercury. But the one thing about Mercury as opposed to the other planets is that Mercury is kind of like a neutral energy. Remember how I mentioned the sun is masculine energy, the moon is feminine energy. Mercury is kind of that like neutrality type of place. So Mercury also rules Virgo, so that means that Mercury is also in its detriment in Pisces. So just think about this a little bit here. So I love Pisces energy. Pisces energy is great, very creative, very artistic, multifaceted people. But when it comes to communicating, Pisces are just very like, I don't know, like Mercury and Pisces in particular, they could just really be in la la land a lot. When you try to talk to them, it's like, it might be like talking to a brick wall because, they're thinking about, the music that's playing in their minds or the ocean that they want to swim in or something like that. They're definitely not thinking about what's going on. And when it comes to like a Mercury and Pisces child, like in school, that child is going to have a very, very difficult time with like the core type of subjects. Now they'll do better in the more creative type of subjects like art and music and drama and stuff like that. But a Mercury and Pisces doing math and science and English, like I'm just trying to tell y'all right now, if you're parents and you have a Mercury and Pisces child, beware because they're probably not going to be paying attention. They may be all, spaced out and, not really applying themselves because it's not interesting to them. So when it comes to communicating with the Mercury and Pisces, you kind of got to speak their language. I don't know. You got to like sing to them, draw, do something, dance, do something like that to catch their attention. Maybe drink with them, maybe smoke with them or something like that, because just trying to talk to a Mercury and Pisces about something specific and giving details and things like that is not going to work. Like Mercury and Gemini and Mercury and Pisces, for instance, do not mix. I know. Okay, so we got both of the rulerships and both of the detriments. Now let's talk about the exaltations. It's not more than one exaltation. It's one exaltation. So Mercury is exalted in Aquarius, and this makes a whole lot of sense because they say Aquarius is like the sign of the genius because Aquarius energy is very inventive. It's very innovative. It's very like tech savvy. So where Mercury rules like the media, like Mercury in Aquarius is like the internet and beyond. Mercury in Aquarius is just anything that's kind of like making our lives, easier via technology. All of the inventions, all of the new cool ways of doing things in terms of, the future and electronics is very Mercury and Aquarius, a very, very, very inquisitive mind, Mercury and Aquarius, very, very smart. So definitely keep that in mind when dealing with a Mercury and Aquarius. They may also give off the vibe that they know everything, but like I said before, very inquisitive. So they're going to ask questions because they want to know all of the details. Because remember, Mercury is not a feeling. It's about thinking. It's about the way you think and the way that you communicate. And since Aquarius is kind of like an emotionally detached sign, Mercury in Aquarius is a great place for it to be because they express themselves through thought, by using their head, by using their brain, as opposed to using their heart and their emotions and things like that. So it's more logical. That's a big thing that I forgot to mention about Mercury in its rulership signs and in exaltation. Logic, rationale, Mercury in Gemini, Mercury in Virgo, and particularly Mercury in Aquarius are going to be very logical, rational people, able to rationalize anything that could be for good or for bad, but they can use logic to figure out stuff. Logic is so important to these Mercury placements. It's very important to me as being a Mercury in Gemini. I don't understand when people don't have logic. Also, Mercury, I would say Mercury in Gemini, Virgo, and Aquarius can kind of be sticklers for like good grammar. So I know that when I'm on like social media and I see people misspelling stuff like multiple times, especially celebrities, y'all, child, some of these celebrities, they don't know how to read it right. I just had to say it. I got to see their Mercury placements to see what's up with that. But yeah, they could be sticklers for grammar. I know every time I post something, if I spell something wrong, I got to go edit it. Even if I'm texting somebody, I'll, I meant to say this, I'll put the little asterisk there and I'll like resend it. Like it came out as a U and I meant to say I. So I got to make sure that that I know that I'm not stupid and this is what I meant to say. So that's very Mercury and Gemini, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, most definitely. So since Mercury is exalted in Aquarius, that means that it is in its fall in Leo. And we are in Mercury retrograde right now. What sign? Leo. So Mercury is like, Leo energy is like very bossy. Like Leo energy doesn't know how to have that exchange, so to speak, of a conversation. So that's why Mercury in Leo is in its fall and it's not an advantageous place for Mercury, because Leo energy is a fixed sign, as is Aquarius, but Aquarius is about the head. And as I mentioned in my last video, Leo is about the heart. So Leo energy, as far as Mercury is concerned, it's just going to be like, I know best because I am the king and I am the ruler, I am the queen, and I know everything, But I will say a Mercury and Leo makes for a very good person, like in the media, like in the spotlight, because again, that Leo energy comes out as far as being able to shine. In reference to communicating with other people, I would say that Mercury and Leo maybe should have their own show, like not be on a panel with other people, because they may, over talk people, or just may not be receptive to what other people say and things of that nature. So the biggest thing that I have to say is that because Mercury has to deal with the mind and it's a neutral energy, with it being in Leo, Leo is very passionate. Leo is about, matters of the heart. So Leo energy with that Mercury energy there isn't necessarily thinking logically. It's not thinking rationally. It's thinking with the heart. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, that's fine, but sometimes you got to be logical and you got to be rational about things. And Leo energy is just too fiery to be rational about things sometimes. So think about that and think about us being in this Mercury retrograde in Leo in its fall. Good God. Okay, so we're going to move right along to Venus. And I know you guys have been wondering why I call myself the Venusian Bull, so we about to get into why. So Venus also rules two signs. It rules Taurus and it also rules Libra. So my sun sign happens to be Taurus and my moon happens to be Libra. And the bull is the sign of is the symbol of Taurus. So this is why I call myself the Venusian Bull, if you didn't already know. But Venus is the planet of love. It's the planet of pleasure. Obviously, this is a feminine energy. It's the planet of the arts. It's a very artistic planet. Both Taurus and Libra are very artistic signs. It's about partnerships. It's about marriage. It's about, others. It's about, the beautiful things in life. Remember when I was talking about Taurus energy and Libra energy both love beautiful things and like artwork and like nice, scenery and things of that nature, museums and things like that. Venus represents all things beauty, hair, makeup, style, all of that stuff. But Venus also represents your self-worth. It represents your values. It represents money. It represents the dollar bill, y'all. So, think about that when it comes to Venus. And obviously, like a Venus in Taurus is the sign of money. So that would be a pretty advantageous place for your Venus to be, because Taurus is a sign of money. Venus is a sign of money. Oh, I forgot to mention, Mercury is akin to the third house. Venus is akin to the second house and the seventh. So Mercury is akin to the third house and the sixth, and Venus is akin to the second house and the seventh house, with the Taurus and the Libra. So, yeah, I really love the planet Venus. Venus is like one of those planets that can really, like, even if it's in like a negative aspect to another planet, can kind of smooth that planet out. Again, it just depends on other factors in your chart, because you could still have a crazy situation if you have like Venus square Mars and something like that. That's a direct issue with you and your man. If you're a woman, a significant other, Venus represents women, Mars represents men. So that's an initial conflict. But Venus is there to kind of smooth things out. Let it rain and it smooths it out. You know what I'm saying? So Venus is just about peace and harmony and being diplomatic. That's why you will find people with like strong Venus energy to be very peaceful and serene. You see how I'm changing up my vibe? When I was talking about Mercury, I was very talking with my hands and all like this. And now I'm talking about Venus and I'm all like chill and like, yes, this is nice and everything like that. So I can be very twofold as well. But specifically talking about Venus in Libra and Venus in Taurus. Let me talk about Venus in Taurus, okay? Venus in Taurus is going to, Venus also rules the voice. And Taurus is the sign of the voice. It rules like the vocal cords, the neck, throat, and vocal cords and things like that. So Venus in Taurus may produce a really nice singing voice as well. And I would say a Venus in Libra too, because it's very artistic as well. So it also, because Libra represents like the law and like being diplomatic and things like that, Venus in Libra can make you a very diplomatic person, a very fair person, looking at both sides of the coin, Libra balancing the scales and everything like that. We know this. But a Venus in Libra can just make somebody, like, that would make a great judge. Like, judges should be Venus in Libra. I mean, in good aspect to other planets, but the Venus and Libra energy specifically would be great for law. Because if we had more Venus and Libra energy in the justice system, then we would actually adhere to the laws or make laws to actually make things better and more fair for people.